And you're waking up with Damo here on 4WK. It is time to turn back the hands of time and check out some local history. Now, we do that with Harold Peacock, who is from historyouthere.com. He has got a great wealth of stories. And today we're going to find out about the day 90 years ago that the infamous nude escapologist came to Warwick. Good morning, Harold.
Yes, good morning, Damo. Hopefully it's not too cold now. Certainly not now, but it wasn't. Well, it might have been 90 years ago.
Well, I'll tell you what, it probably would have been a bit chilly.
But anyway, look, if you go back, it was actually around midnight, so it would have been cold. It was midnight on Friday the 14th of September, 1934. And that's when several shots were actually fired in the main street of Warwick. That's because another prisoner had escaped from the Warwick jail. Now, this wasn't all that unusual for the place, unfortunately. See, in 1902, two prisoners escaped by climbing over the Warwick jail wall. One of them was Richard Clements, who had 9 or 10 aliases. He'd been sentenced only a couple of hours earlier to 9 months imprisonment for vagrancy and obscene language. He was picked up on a train in Stanthorpe, but the first place he went after escaping was the Harper Varon Hotel in Warwick. So I guess he wanted to look up some friends there. And in fact, people in Warwick, that's the old timber building that was built in 1876 and it's still there on the corner of Wood and Whitby Streets today.
Oh.
Yeah. And in 1910, it was a prisoner named Harold Fraser. He escaped by climbing over the same jail wall. He was spotted at Dalveen, but no more seen of him after that night. The night train actually passed through and probably took him over the border. In 1931, it was 17-year-old Charlie Morris and 18-year-old Ernest Clark who climbed that same wall. They had stolen a saddle which blew their last chance that they were given by the judge. But in the 1934 incident that I mentioned, this was, however, a prisoner of a very different ilk. His name was John Sleeth. He'd been caught in the act of burglary, but evaded both capture and police bullets. He was subsequently arrested at Balladine, 16 miles away, and got locked up here in Warwick, in the Warwick jail. Now, John Sleeth was well known to police, so as well as being locked in the cell, he was also placed in leg irons. Now, they definitely didn't want him to get away, but escape he did by using the handle of a cell bucket to remove 25 bricks from his cell wall. He climbed through the hole and then walked through the door of the adjoining cell, which had been left open. Sleeth then climbed the same prison wall that had served the previous escapee so well. He was recaptured and this time sent to Boggo Road Jail in Brisbane, but he attempted a jailbreak from there as well. One morning while waiting trial, all of the window bars bar one in Sleeth's cell were found to have been sawn through. So this made it 5 jailbreaks in 5 years, in addition to a number of escapes from constables even before they got him behind closed bars. Now, his escapades had been at Albury, New South Wales, and in Queensland at Townsville, Rockhampton, Warwick, and now Boggo Road. Sleeth became infamous as the phantom figure of the penitentiary. It was as if he went to jail for the sole objective of trying to get out. However, this time at Boggo Road, the governor took extraordinary steps which increased Sleeth's infamy. Firstly, he was never allowed to occupy the same cell 2 nights in a row. They didn't want him sawing through the bars again. Secondly, he was required to take each of the 3 meals a day in the nude. Now, this was to make sure he hadn't concealed somewhere any files or hacksaw blades that might help him make another escape. Now, after both the morning and midday meals, his clothes were given back to him. But after the evening meal, he was left starkers to spend the night in complete nudity.
Wow.
In the morning, he was given his jail clothes back again until breakfast time, and, of course, the daily routine started over. So, Damo, next time you feel you just need to get away, you better think about unintended consequences. That's because you might be required to eat in the nude, just like the Phantom of the Penitentiary after he visited Warwick 90 years ago.
Oh, mate, can you imagine the outcry if prison officials demanded you ate in the nude and slept in the nude?
Well, just don't put the files where they don't belong. That's the answer, isn't it?
He was like the Houdini of Queensland jails, wasn't he?
Yeah, that's right. The phantom of the penitentiary. They kept him in the long run, but he came to Warwick. That was the last straw. He got sent off to Bogger Road, and he was locked away then.
There you go. All right, we can look at that story and many others. You've got a great website, haven't you?
Yes. All these stories, historyouthere.com.
All right, historyouthere.com. Now, next week you're not going to be here, are you?
No, I'm on assignment in China. I'll see what Warwick history I can dig up out there, or Darling Downs, Toowoomba, Gundawindi, whatever we can find in China. I'll tell you about it.
All right, so, and you'll be back the week after, though?
Oh, look, you try and stop me, Damo. I'll be here with another story from history out there.
Well, mate, I know that a lot of people love to hear these stories, and, of course, having it in their own backyard, it's really important that we keep our local history alive, isn't it?
Oh, look, that's right. Only by learning from the past can we plan for the future, and there's so much past in the Darling Downs. The history, the place is rich with it. There's some great stories to tell.
Fantastic. Historyouthere.com. You have a safe travels to China, mate. We'll miss you next week, but look forward to your return the week after.
Fantastic. Looking forward to it.